We recently announced a deal that I've negotiated with MultiNET Home Loans, in which all of the agents who join my EXP team will be paid 0.4% of their bonds. It's a really, really big bond split for the agent. It's a great source of additional income. So I spent a little bit of time speaking to Shaun Rademeyer, who's the CEO of MultiNET, and Amanda Bond, who is the consultant dedicated to my team. Here's what they had to say. Shaun Rademeyer and Amanda Bond from MultiNET. It's great to have you guys with me today for our property conversations. And we've been working more and more closely with you guys as a whole company, EXP South Africa, and my team in particular. We are excited about the relationship with you guys. And it came about through agents of mine that have already been using you, Amanda, and very, very happy with the service you provide, both you personally, but also as a company. So we're delighted. Partnerships are important in business, and I feel like this is a key partnership and a good one for us. So the purpose of today is I just want to climb into maybe the industry a little bit. Estate agents go to talks by bond originators all the time, so I want to kind of avoid the normal kind of spiel. But let's talk a little bit about the industry, where it's going, and then MultiNET as a company itself. And then Amanda, after those discussions, I want to jump into a conversation with you about some of the stuff that you do with your clients. But I think maybe, Shaun, let's just start with the story of MultiNET. What is the company story?
Sure. Yeah, so let's go back to 2004, 2003 when origination started in South Africa. It was actually one or two real estate companies that approached the banks to get a contract. And, the rest of the market eventually, caught on that there's a big opportunity on doing home origination for the banks and getting paid for it. There was two reasons why the banks liked it. One, they didn't have the overheads of having their own sales team. And two, they could get a sight of business from the real estate agents. 2008 hit. I think we were 5 companies in the market at that stage. And, the crisis hit. And a lot of us didn't make it. And after the, let's call it the smoldering was done and we got back to normal, there was only 3 companies left. It was the 2 big ones at the moment in the market, Uber and Betterbond, and MultiNET was the smaller of the 3 at that stage. I think MultiNET only had like a 4% market share. So really tiny little company competing against these 2 giants. It was run by a guy by the name of John Smythe. Very interesting story. He came over when the IRA was, going through their massive wars in Ireland, and he moved to South Africa and started a real estate company, and eventually, as I said, started this origination business. So out of the blue, it wasn't something he was planning. And he ran it as a family business for many years. He had a small little team going there, very focused on the people. And unfortunately, he got sick and passed away, 5 years ago. That's when I joined the company. I joined his son, that's still a shareholder in the company, and his mother. And, we decided we wanted to take MultiNET to the next level. And we had a look at this industry. We saw how everything was connected and who was running what. And we decided that we were going to focus on being the independent mortgage origination company in South Africa. And we had to come up with a model. We were facing giants. We had a very low market share. We were on the brink of actually, getting to a point where they were going to take us out totally. And we came up with this model to say, one of the things that is our strength is that we are so small. We don't have these overheads. We don't have these massive boardrooms and offices and 10 different type of managers on there. And we saw the value that the people that are actually doing the work on the ground, like Amanda, is who the company is about. So we decided that we were going to come up with a model where we were going to pay 80% of what we earn to the people on the ground and only retain 20%. And since then, we're almost 5 years in. We've tripled our market share as MultiNET. We've really been standing as the independent real estate partner. And we're also the only mortgage origination company who's a level 4 BEE. So we have a BEE partner from the start, what I decided is, Stephen, I said, if I'm going to grow this business, I shouldn't grow it to a point where I then get partners in. I should, from the start, find myself a good partner and have our transformation journey set in stone from the start. And a girl by the name of Vuiso Matsakwani, she was actually the chair. She's currently the chairperson of the NPPC, the National Property Practitioners Forum, and she was the CEO of Cyber. And I just one day phoned her out of the blue and I said to her, look, I want you as my partner, but I want to date you a bit, but in business sense. So for about 6 months, we were getting to know each other, and then eventually we did a deal with her, and she's a partner of our business now.
What are you guys doing to compete with the competitors, and what sets you apart from other bond originators?
Yeah, so, Stephen, the first thing is that everyone's trying to disrupt this industry. So from going digital to ensuring that a customer can go from the start of his journey to registering his property on a portal. There's been, transformation in terms of digital strategies in this industry for the last 15 years. What I realized is that our market in South Africa, 70% of our applications are first-time home buyers. That is an average bond size of 1.2 million rand. Most of these people don't even have the ability to understand the home loans process. Now you want them to do that on their own. So what we've decided is that we're going to focus on the people on the ground that actually have the knowledge. We're not going to force our consumers to go into a portal or a call center or to try something new that's sexy and, call it a different type of name. We're going to focus on educating, appointing the best in the market, and going to the real estate agents and showing them that if you want a deal to go through, this is where you need to go to. I mean, a lot of these consumers don't know how to fill in an application form. And listen, let me be honest. I've bought a house 3 times in my life, and I've recently bought one about 2 months ago. And I still found the process to be very daunting. And I mean, I'm the CEO of a mortgage origination company. And I used one of my people. Without her help, I would have not been able to do what she did for me. What we've done is we said to our people, you can decide what you want to pay your real estate agents. I know that we have signed a deal with your team, Stephen, at 0.4, which is typically double than what we normally pay in the real estate market. But the reason why Amanda can do that is because her volumes of business that she can get through your team puts her on a different bracket, which means she actually earns very similar that she would have earned if she paid 0.2 away. So that's what we do with our people. We give them the ability to share some of the benefit with a real estate partner, but we still look after them if they get higher numbers. Our people are specialists in terms of doing finance. When it comes to self-employed, when it comes to tricky deals with trust and all of that. And a lot of our agents use our people not for the money, but they're going to lose more money if they put it through someone else and they can't get the deal through and make their sales commission. So it's very, it varies from consultant to consultant. Big groups like yours, we like to do a deal because volumes help us to make more money. And an agent that, let's call it 10 million registrations a year. So if they register 10 million, over the 12 months, it's an average of about 3,000, 3,500 Rand a month that they would get. I mean, that pays for your fuel.
Yeah, that is not insignificant.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sure. Okay. So, if you're an estate agent out there and you're watching this, just think about that. Later in the year, I'm going to be launching a series called Multiple Streams, and MultiNET will be one of the key themes or one of the key partners that we focus on. But I think one of the secrets to financial success in life, for financial freedom, is to develop multiple streams of income for yourself. And I'm not the only person who said that. Many, people have said that through the years. And this is one of the primary ways an agent can develop a second stream of income for themselves and their business. And I'd like to think with the deal that you've offered us in our group, that 0.4%, it is, I know I've been speaking to a lot of the agents in my group saying it's at least double what they're being offered or what they're currently getting with whoever they're currently working with. And so, if you can earn just another 3,000 Rand a month, what would that mean for you? Another 3 grand in your pocket per month. The economic climate, how is that impacting the bond origination business?
Yeah, so I think we need to be very clear on what happened the last 2 years. It is an anomaly. It's not going to happen again for the next 10 years. we saw a very big spike because of exceptionally cheap financing options from the banks. I mean, we have never had a 3.5% interest rate in this country in the last 20 years. So what my predictions, and I wrote an article about it that's also been published now, is that we're going to be moving from where we saw a seller's market. I mean, if you had stock and you had priced it right, you would have sold that property within a week. I think we've all seen that in the industry. We are now moving back to that space where the buyers are going to have the power. We've already seen a 10% drop in the bank conversion ratios because of affordability. So where we are on a 10.5% interest rate now, consumers that wanted to buy a 1.5 million rand property could get financed easily because of affordability at 3.5%. Those consumers are now getting declined, meaning that customers are now going to have 3-4 offers on their property, and they're going to keep falling through. The impact of that, Stephen, is that one, there's going to be more stock in the market. For sure, consumers are going to come under pressure because of the hike in electricity, inflation. You know, we're now moving into that space where we're working in a normal environment. So more stock is going to come in the market. The problem is that the buyers are going to now have an option on 3 or 4 houses. And your buyers are now going to be diminished because of affordability. So we're really going to see that estate agents are going to have to pull out all the stops to do price counseling with consumers. You can't expect to get a price that you got last year. I've already seen for the first time in the last 18 months that the average home price submitted has now declined by 5%. So that we can already see that that's happening. So the rental market will be good again. So those people that are looking for getting into properties to rent, and the reason why is because the people that are renting can no longer afford a bond, but they can afford to pay for the rental. So we're seeing that shift happening again, and we're on that cusp. You know, a buyer's to a seller's market literally changes in 30 to 60 days, and that's what we're seeing happening now. Real estate agents are now exceptionally important to help consumers that are going through trouble. If a consumer is going to push you on putting his property at 100 or 200,000 rand more, but he's in that financial strain that he needs to sell his property pretty quickly, they have to price counsel these consumers. They cannot allow their property to stand for 3 to 6 months, because before you see it, there will be 3 or 4 other properties at the same type at a different value, and that consumer would have lost out on a buyer.
One of the things that we're talking to our agents about is how to price counsel in a mature and yet forthright manner. The best time to handle the whole pricing objection is before it even gets raised.
Correct.
You've got to come in and be honest with clients. So you absolutely 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Shaun, if you could change one thing about the bond origination industry or process, if you had a magic wand, what would you change?
Sure, that's an interesting question. I haven't really even given it much thought. The one thing I would change is the actual understanding of origination in South Africa. Consumers still think going to their banks directly is the best way to get finance. And in actual fact, it is the worst way to get finance. You do not have the banks competing for your business. You do not get the best interest rate. Banks are there to make profit, as all companies are. And if they don't have to compete for your business, they're going to give you the highest profitability margin for their business they can. And that's the one thing I would change. We've got stats, we've got proof. We show them that on average, consumers coming through us save between 0.5 and 0.8% interest rate. Over 20 years, that's 150,000 rand. But who's really given us this stigma is the insurance industry. So the insurance industry kept saying, cut out the middleman, don't go through the broker because you pay for that service. We are not a broker. We are not a middle. We are an origination company that sends your deals to several other companies competing for it. And that's the difference.
I explain it to my agents, and often they say, oh my word, they've never thought about it that way. But if a client goes directly to the bank because they've banked with them for many years, they're going directly, I always say to them, explain to your client that there's no reason why the bank must be competitive in that instance, because they've got your loyalty. It's the old way of thinking. You've built up years of history with the banks, and you're going to get a better deal. But it's not like that. The banks have no motivation really to be very competitive. But if we get the opportunity to multi-submit to all the banks, they have to be competitive because we do play the good and bad cop in the background and fight for the best deal, fight for the best interest rate. And I've had so many agents when the clients say, no, they're going to their own bank, but then we can go to the rest. And if they know this concept of just try the originator, I guarantee you will get the best deal. I've got so many testimonies of where we've done that and helped the clients.
Maybe you guys will have a comment on the code of conduct of the PPRA, because there is a clause in the code of conduct that says an estate agent may not influence a client as to who to use to finance their property. Now, to me, that is a very badly worded clause, however it is worded. When I read it, I thought to myself, I understand you're not wanting the estate agent to use their influence to do something that's unethical or bad for the client. But, in many cases, as we're discussing now, not educating the client is actually bad for them.
Yeah, so Stephen, we actually went and we got an exemption from that Section 54 of the PPRA Act as an origination industry. So the three of us stood together as we call it MORCSA, the Mortgage Origination Council of South Africa. And we went to go see the PPRA to say to them that exact point, that your exemption into the origination industry being referred by real estate is actually detrimental to the consumer. So we've got an exemption from that. So you are allowed to refer a consumer to a mortgage originator. Your only requirement is for you to disclose to the consumer in writing what commission you earn from that referral.
That's very interesting. Well, I'm glad you did that.
The challenge we have is not really in the market that's first-time home buyers or to 1.5 million. Those consumers take the advice of the real estate agent and they use. We probably have an 80% market share there as an origination industry. Where we find it very difficult is when the customer's got a private banker.
Yes.
Because he thinks that he has now a private banker and the private banker will give him the best deal. Those are the educated 4.5 million rand average property that doesn't understand that you're still not going to get the best deal. You could go to several other private banking suites, from Investec to ABSA Private Bank to FNB Private Bank, and we will give you not just the best deal on your home loan, but if you have a structured loan as well. It's one opportunity. You only buy a house every 7 years. It's one opportunity to ensure that your entire portfolio is actually being priced at the right interest rate.
Cool, Amanda. What do you enjoy most about what you do?
I know it sounds like cliche, but I really, really enjoy helping people get their home loans, help them to own a property, and helping a difficult deal to go through and to have it approved. I've been doing home loans for over 20 years. And it honestly never gets old. I get excited every single time I have an approval and I can help a client. So that's really, really the main thing. It still brings me joy to do that. It's exciting. When I wasn't with an originator, I was with a home loans company in South Africa, and I was with them in two different stages for 17 years. And at that stage, I received the bulk of my business. Over 80% of my business was originators not coming right at the banks and giving me the business to try it at an alternative company. And that's just because I've got a reputation of working complex deals. So that private banking, private wealth clients that Shaun spoke about, it's in general speaking terms, it's quite difficult to get them through, but there's a process that you must follow, and you must be able to motivate correctly and use your skills. And that's why we are specialists. We're not just someone that decided, we're going to do home loans, and then you're just a home loans specialist. You really have to know what you're doing and specialize in what you're doing and know how to motivate a deal.
So you've been around the block. This is not your first radio.
I have been around the block.
Okay. So tell us about your experience with MultiNET, because you've obviously been with other organizations.
Yes. I joined MultiNET in the middle of COVID. decided to change companies, and I loved what I heard. I loved what I saw. Very good commission structure, the most competitive structure there is. So it was kind of, to me, the only option. And I'm so happy I made that choice. I'm happy to be with MultiNET. I won't change ever. I like to be aligned with a company that's got the same principles that I like to live by. So, yeah, I'm just really happy that I've joined them, and I feel like part of the family.
You know, Stephen, I maybe if I could just add there, and I'm going to have to, Amanda. I mean, I'm the CEO of the company. You know, we've had 70 people join us over the last 3 years, in a market that I suspect is about 500 consultants out there, and every single story of how we've changed people's lives has, you know, it's not just a cliche word that we've changed people's lives. I've got a girl up in Johannesburg, single mom, 2 kids, was earning 14,000 Rand a month, okay, doing bonds. Now, imagine you've got 2 kids in school, you need to pay your rent, you have to pay food, you have to pay school fees. I mean, how do you survive? You just don't. That girl came over to us. Within 5 months, she's now making more money in a single month than what she made in the entire year. And I know money's not everything, but believe me, when you have nothing and you can't buy food for your kids and you can't do the basic things, then money does bring you happiness. You know, after that, of course it won't. You know, earning 150,000 Rand to going to earn 300,000 Rand, you're probably not going to find happiness there. But when you have nothing and you go to that amount, that is what we create in our business.
Absolutely. And that's what you did for us too, for me, Shaun. You know, that's exactly what you did for me. I'm a single mom. I'm the only breadwinner. I have to do well. I have to earn money. And it's not a greed thing. It's a survival thing. You have to. So you want to be rewarded for the work that you put in. And that's, I think, with the other lady that you're talking about, you know, with other companies, she did the work, but she wasn't rewarded. And now she's doing the work plus more and getting rewarded. It's a good story.
You see, Stephen, the value that we set for ourselves was that we live in a society where individuals take 80% of the income. How much billions or hundreds of millions do you need as an individual? It just doesn't make sense to me. And our whole value of the company was to change the lives of the people that actually do the work on the ground. I started my career as a call center agent. I was selling insurance products over the phone to the detriment of my dad's disbelief. I started in an environment sitting next to 1,000 other people in a call center. And in that company, I worked myself up, and eventually I became the youngest director. So just as a by the way, but every year we had a target to make. And if we didn't make 800 million Rand, we didn't get a bonus. So if we missed it by 50 million Rand, we didn't get a bonus. 750 million Rand was going to the shareholders, and I disagreed with the model. And the same thing happened in mortgage origination. The other 2 companies, the individual sitting at the top, which is a handful, takes 80% of the income for themselves, while the people on the ground are not surviving. And that's what I wanted to change as MultiNET.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. This is exactly why EXP as a real estate company has grown so fast around the world, because Glenn Sanford had this vision. Why don't we just turn real estate on its head? Why don't I start a real estate company that's owned by the agents, that compensates the agents, that we take the split that we get from our agents and we pay it back into the community of agents to help us grow the company. And when you incentivize people properly, you give them an opportunity for their own life, for their family, for their future, they are going to thrive there. So I was going to ask you as our final question, and maybe you will have a comment on this, but like my question was going to be, where do you see now, looking into the future, the industry of bond origination going, or more broadly real estate going? But not to preempt your answer, one of my answers will definitely be that the disruption that technology can bring to any industry has brought now to real estate the opportunity for the agent on the ground to truly build a future and a legacy for themselves through the model. And that is going to obliterate so much of the old guard, the old model of real estate. Why? Because it's good for the person on the ground. And I don't know if you would see a similar thing happening in bond origination, but this is one of the reasons we're so pleased to be partnering with you guys. I feel like we've got that DNA that we share at EXP and MultiNET, and you're good people. I trust you, and let's make this partnership really thrive for everyone. But any comments on that from you guys as we close?
Absolutely. I think a comment from me on the technology and the disruptor. We are investing heavily in the disruption in the industry from MultiNET. But what we are doing is we are creating it to make our people's jobs easier. There's a ceiling of how much business you can do as an individual. And if I can create that ceiling to be double the amount with using technology, they can then double their business. So we want to go on a hybrid model. I never want to get rid of people in my business. I want to make them more successful and more productive. And that's what we're investing in.
But just lastly, we're looking forward to working with your team, Steve, and, we're just very excited about doing that.
We're very grateful. Yeah, we're very grateful for what you're doing. And if you're an estate agent and you want to earn 0.4% on all your Bond Comm and not share it with your company, you get to keep it. Come and chat to us and we'll introduce you to Amanda and the team. And we'd love to get you over into EXP as well. So, yeah, Shaun, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. We appreciate everything you're doing with your company. Amanda, thank you. Thank you for your service.